And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the BatFlip, episode 135. Coming back to recap the week 23 of NFBC FAAB, as we love to do for all you lovely listeners out there, as the season's winding down. We got about a month to go here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We were talking a bunch off air about some things that might take place. We'll probably talk about it throughout this show and the next few episodes. But beforehand, I'm on Twitter at BDintric, and my co-host is always on Twitter at BatFlipCrazy. Toby, how we doing, man?
We're doing great, Bubba. It's been a good week so far. We got 4 more weeks, like pretty much, to go. So time's running out. In some instances, it feels really good. In some instances, it feels really bad. It's going to be the end of the season, and some of your teams you wish you had a week longer, and other teams you're just going to be glad it's over. So I'm enjoying it right now and trying to do what we can.
Yeah, I definitely have some of those leagues right now. It's like some of them are just like, nope, what's done is done. But then there's other ones I'm like, let's keep seeing where this battle goes and see what happens. So I'm kind of torn on some of those, but yeah, it's gonna be over before we know it, which is crazy. But football starts up this week, so I can't wait to tell you about some of the FAAB results in some of my 12-team leagues, because literally, the league I keep telling is asleep at the wheel. Oh, this one was very asleep at the wheel this week. I can't wait to tell you a player I got for $1. Just gonna throw that one out there. So it just made me laugh. I'm like, because I had barely any money in that league, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's why I always show people, put bids in. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. But we'll talk about that soon enough, as football is ramping up and it's going to take over the world and Twitter and all kinds of other fun stuff pretty soon. But let's get into the FAAB. Let's get into the fun part of FAAB, where it gets even more important. There's a couple 9-game weeks coming up next week if you want to look into that. There's a couple 8-game weeks this week. It's a lot of strategy taking place now, dropping guys that are just questionable and making it rock and roll. And then, like usual, this year's been full of prospect call-ups, Toby. Lots and lots of prospect call-ups. So let's start with the big one. We've been waiting for it for a long time. That's Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks, power speed guy. Put up in the minor leagues in AA, 16 homers, 20 steals, hit 313, and AAA, 7 homers, 11 steals, hit 287. Very, very talented ball player. Kind of a slow start, but we've seen the speed in full force when he's on the bases out there. Like, he's a talent. There's no doubt in it, and he should get plenty of run down the stretch here. He got picked up in 186 leagues, all 12-team leagues, as high as 601, as low as $1. So someone had all their money to spend. What's your thoughts on Corbin Carroll?
Yeah, he was towards the top of my list in quite a few places. I did not get him anywhere. I lost out 39-39 on a bid for him in my super, which I'm actually kind of happy about. Not like because I didn't get him, I'm happy about it. Let's be very clear, first of all. But second of all, I'm a big fan of being able to get a lot of guys at this point in time and just kind of mix and match. But Carroll, he's a difference maker. Like you mentioned, I think the reason why I liked him kind of straight up more than Gunnar Henderson was the speed. The speed is definitely a difference maker. And then the low K rate. I know that he was projected for a slightly higher K rate than Henderson, and maybe I'm just foolish, and now that I'm looking at their metrics really closely. But yeah, I mean, Carroll, there's a couple things going on. Number one, he's really fast, so the speed is something. The power, although his max EV is still that 104.8, that 440-foot bomb he hit that didn't end up being a home run. That's his one barrel that he's got so far.
The only ballpark it wouldn't have gone out in. Thank you, home stadium.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, and there was I wasn't super aggressive. Part of that was also because, the D-backs had been on record as saying that they wanted to preserve his rookie eligibility. And so I'm not sure how much of a factor that's going to be, but is enough of a factor so that I kind of ramped down my bids a little bit. So I wasn't overly aggressive, but I do like the speed, the power potential. Hitting in the middle of the lineup, is also really nice there. And again, I'm a broken record, but this last 4 weeks of the season, the best hitter in baseball can be bad over 4 weeks. The worst hitter in baseball can be good over the 4 weeks. You obviously have a better chance if you've got the really good hitter, but you're just hoping to catch lightning in a bottle with these guys. And so Carroll, we'll see what ends up happening, with him, but I can definitely see why there was so much intrigue around him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The power, the speed. It's going to be interesting how they play it out. Like they say, he's going to play most of the time. You got Jake McCarthy, who's crushing it. 11 steals since the All Star break. He's been a great FAAB acquisition for those that took that price. Alec Thomas has been good, great. There's been some up and downs there, but then you got Varsho on the outfield who went deep right before we recorded.
Yeah, he did, Bubba.
It's beautiful. It's a
And
beautiful
and
thing.
and McCarthy's on first base right now with a base open
So
in
that means
front of
another
him.
stolen base might be coming up. Yep.
I mean,
Watch out.
I don't wanna jinx anything.
These D-backs, man, just because they're on a
These
bad team
D-backs,
doesn't mean
man.
they can't be fantasy relevant down the stretch here. So Carroll, very solid ball player, regular playing time. I wouldn't be shocked if he puts up 3 or 4 home runs and gets you 5-6 steals down the stretch here. He's that talented once he gets comfortable, and we start getting worse pitching coming up here down the stretch. Like he might find a groove here to have some fun. So I like the acquisition quite a bit. And to me, the next guy we're going to talk about is Gunnar Henderson, of course, picked up in 186 leagues. He was picked. This was funny to me because in a lot of my leagues he went for more, and he went for as high as 811 in one league, which tells you once again people had money left over because they were asleep at the wheel. But to me, it came down to, do you take the infielder or the outfielder? What does your team need? Because Henderson's a beast too. He's hitting 290 with a home run already this year. In the minors, he had a total of 19 homers, 22 steals. And one of the beautiful things is the Orioles are playing him all over the infield, second, third, and short. So it might be too late to get a lot of eligibility, but it's one of those things that's going to help out in a big way if he can sneak in a couple extra spots down the stretch here with a very talented bat.
Yeah, for sure. And the reason why I was saying like, oh man, I'm so wrong on the difference between Henderson and Carroll was that Henderson actually has the lower projected strikeout rate, and he has a higher contact rate so far by 7%. So I look like a fool for saying that. Henderson, the profile looks good. A really nice O swing, 27%. Contact rate is higher. Quality of contact isn't quite there. He does have a 107.1 max EV, only 1 barrel and 21 batted ball events. On Fangraphs, a 19% hard hit rate. I know it's at 42.9% on Fangraphs. Both him and Carroll have pretty high ground ball rate so far, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. A lot of times when guys come up from the minors, they can struggle with elevating the ball because, pitchers are just better. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but I can definitely, again, see why people were interested in him. I think for him and Carroll, they were so close. It was just a matter of whether like outfield or middle infield made the most sense for you. I had Henderson on the top of some lines, Carroll on the top of some lines. Where it was either or, I had Carroll above, but can definitely see Henderson, and he seems to be getting like the full run, right? I don't know if he's sat since he came up. And so for me, that's intriguing, and they're in the playoff chase, so they're not going to kind of mess around with him too much. So can definitely see the interest in Henderson as well. And I wasn't super aggressive on him, but I was decently aggressive. Okay. Yeah, check this out. Jake McCarthy stole. Oh,
on call like that. You couldn't have planned that one any better right there. As we were talking, we set it up on a tee for everybody, and then boom, he goes and gets it done. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. Jake McCarthy, you legend.
God. And meanwhile,
love that, man.
Meanwhile, Kyle Wright spotted 9 runs against the A's, and he's getting yanked with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 5th inning.
So no win and probably more runs going on the docket. Fun times.
Unreal,
fun
dude.
times. Oh, well, we'll see how that one ends up for Kyle Wright, but I'm not thinking it's going to be as great as fantasy managers would like, especially without the dub coming their way.
I want to cry.
Well, we'll save it till later. We'll get there. Long show to go. Next up is Jimmy Herget, which is an interesting name because it took me some digging into over the last week to be like, oh, this guy's actually relevant. Picked up in the 92 leagues as high as $57. He is the current closer for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Picked up 3 saves last week. Since he came back from the IL on August 2nd, he has 4 saves, 1 hold, 19 Ks over 18 1/3 with a .49 ERA. Got some pretty good stuff. Still 7 walks, so there's a little bit of this and that going on, but overall, in a weird bullpen that is the Angels, he seems like their best option. He's been pretty good when they have it to win. So what's your thoughts on Jimmy?
Yeah, I was super aggressive on him. I mean, aggressive relatively speaking. I got him in every single league, I think. Yeah, I mean, Herget's interesting. He's been, 2 weeks ago, I actually had him, I think, 4th or 5th on my line for closers. And I didn't get him anywhere. And I was so pissed when he got those 3 saves. especially being in Iglesias, a guy who had Iglesias, that didn't work out. But yeah, for Herget, I mean, the stuff's all right, nothing too out of the ordinary. 18.7% K minus walk, 10.6 swinging strike, 33.3 on the O swing. He's not dominating people in the zone by any stretch of the imagination, but throughout his career, he's kept the home runs low, which is good. And he's kept that walk rate, at least recently, low in the past 2 seasons, which is only, granted, 72 innings pitched, but 5.1% and 6.1%. So he's not walking guys. The BABIP's a little low, so you worry about some regression happening there. Although the ground ball rate is kind of low, so maybe that BABIP can stay a little bit low. Let me take a look at what he's been doing recently. We'll just take a look at the last 15. He seems to be having one of those seasons, knock on wood, and I probably shouldn't say this, but one of these seasons where you just manage to, like, every jam he gets in, he just kind of manages to get out of it a little bit. So I'm probably ruined that. But yeah, O swing up at 35% over his last 15, K rate at 25.3, swinging strike at 11.6. So he's gotten slightly better recently, although the walk rate has also increased. So yeah, I mean, he's interesting. He seemed like the one guy that was like definitely the closer. And the Angels have a great, I mean, I don't know about the rest of the schedule, but this week, I mean, they've got 3 against Detroit and 3 against the Royals. So you got to assume that they're going to win at least 2 of those games, and hopefully it's going to be close. So
yeah, I'm with you on that. And you made it a great point there that out of all the spec guys that we do every single week, he at least this week felt like the guy that has the job, which you haven't seen with, like, even like we'll get to the Monteros, the Nick Martinez's, and those guys. There's still like a shadow kind of overlooking them that could swoop in at any moment. Where at least Jimmy's got like the role for now, so like he has to lose it type thing, which could be different in other situations. So I'm with you there. I put some bids in, didn't get them. I wasn't super aggressive on the save market, but if you needed it, I understood it. Like you said, 6 great games this week, and that is the name of the game going forward here, is finding matchups, finding the better scenarios, and take your chances there, because you have to set yourself up for the best level of success. And it's a chess game right now. We're 3D chess right now. So have fun with this one. Keston Hira picked up in 92 leagues as high as $69. The Brewers have 8 games this week, including 3 to kick off the week in Coors Field. And since he got recalled in early August, he's hitting 54 with 6 home runs, a stolen base. And I'm going to say this tongue-in-cheek, only striking out 36% of the time. That's good for Keston Hira's standards.
I mean, damn.
So, yeah. So he's hitting power. He's hitting for average for Keston Hira. And he's playing kind of regularly. So I get it. I get it this week. And I've been anti for quite some time, Toby.
What's that? Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
I've been anti-Keston Hira for quite some time. So I understand the move now, though. It made total sense.
Yeah, he was really interesting because he was available not in any of my mains or my bigger leagues, but in TGFBI and some other places. And I was making the argument that I'd actually rather have him than Carroll or Gunderson. And my reason for that was that, if you were to compare them, it's like, I think Hira pretty easily wins the home run total, right? Like, let's say down the stretch, even when you look at projections, Hira's at 4, Carroll and Gunderson are at 2 or 3. Even the steals. I mean, with 5 steals, Carroll hasn't attempted a steal yet. And he's had I think 5 or 6 opportunities at this point. Henderson does have one. But then so maybe steals and maybe power. And then you're looking at batting average, and it's that could go either way over 4 weeks, right? And he was getting run. He played in 6 straight for the Brewers. He sat on Monday, but he's back in the lineup today against a righty. And so I think he's kind of earned that playing time. And like you mentioned, I mean, if you look over his last 40 games, I mean, it's pretty ludicrous. His strikeout rate is at 41.4%. But it's weird because his contact rates are way up. And so he was actually averaging close to 50% for a while there. But it's just fascinating. So definitely something seems to have changed for him. but yeah, it's interesting. I'd love to like. So when did he come up? When did he come back up? Oh, it's actually only been 26 games, huh? It's only been 26 games
Yeah, it's not been that long.
came up, I think. Let's see.
Yep. We came up like
All
early
right.
August.
Since he came up, yeah. Man, so he's got six bombs, 1 steal. Like you mentioned, the 36.1% K rate. Yeah, 132 WRC plus. I mean, he's also got like his BABIP's only 314 over that period of time. Yeah, so I was pretty aggressive with him. I had him like right under Carroll and Henderson. I got him for like
Your mic just
$14.
There you go. You're back. You're back. You're back. You're back. You're back.
I'm back. So, anyways, this is all to say I really like him, and he has such. I mean, the Brewers. We'll talk about it when we get to my FAAB, but I picked up every Brewer I could this weekend because of the. You got 3 at Coors, and you got the 2 against the Giants, and I think it's Junis and
the Giants pitching is atrocious right now. It's bad.
Yeah, and then you've got some other bad team, right?
Yeah, they got a great schedule, phenomenal schedule.
Yeah, they got an amazing schedule.
I think it's the Reds. I want to say, but I could be wrong. I'll check it out while you're talking.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, it's the Reds. Oh my god.
Thought.
Yeah, like if you looked at like Razzballs, like Monday through Thursday, the half of the Brewers were $50 plus players over the first half of the week. I mean, crazy. It's just unbelievable. So that's all to say. I really liked Hura. I picked him up in a few places where he was available. Was pretty aggressive. My mic. Oh my gosh. Is it my mic? And did you lose me? How about now? Can you hear me? Man. How about now, Bubba? Can you hear me? Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Damn it.
To be has left the room. He's about to hop back in and see where things are going. StreamYard is having fun late. It's been down roller coaster with this wonderful app to record for you guys. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Toby.
Yes.
You're back.
I'm back. God. I don't know why it does this all the time. I don't think it's the mic.
No, it's StreamYard. Like it's been having a lot of issues lately.
Has it?
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Well, I apologize for that. Anyways, that's a long way of saying I really like Hura.
He likes Hura and he really likes the Brewers. Next up on the docket, though, Carlos Carrasco. This one surprised me, just the fact he's available in so many leagues. Picked up in 70 leagues as high as $51. A lot of that happened because, the injury thought it was worse, wasn't going to come back, so on and so forth. You had to make your moves. Comes back, and in his return through 2 2/3, gave up 5 runs, only 1 earned, but only struck out 2 against the Washington Nationals, a team you would look to take advantage of. So what do you think with this Carrasco pick? I see the appeal, but it still kind of hasn't really come to fruition yet this year.
Yeah, there's like the Carrasco ideal, the ideal of Carrasco, and then there's actual Carlos Carrasco. The ERA has managed to stay relatively good despite the whip being, pretty atrocious. I mean, 1.33, I think, over the course of the full season. Yeah, just looking at him, I mean, even recently, though, he's been good. 16% swinging strike rate over his last 5, 6.6 walk, 23.6% strikeout. I mean, I think one of the things is that elite strikeout rate has really not come back since he was injured and out. And he's always given up pretty hard contact. And so I think that's just not a great combination. And so obviously he's better than a lot of everybody else that's out there on the waiver wire, but I don't think he's by any stretch of the imagination a perfect player. So, again, maybe some lack of luck with that 3.36 BABIP, but he's been there before. in previous seasons. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I see the appeal. I get the upside. It's just it was tough for me to go too crazy on the bidding when there's other things going on this week with the waiver wire. But if he could get going, if anybody could put up a potential big week, it's him. We've seen it done before, but it seems like there's other guys I'd rather take a chance on, especially next week's FAAB. There's some young guns that are coming up that should be fun as well. Kyle Bradish is the next one on the list for the Baltimore Orioles, picked up in 60 leagues, as high as $18. He's pitching very well, but tonight, 3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. Not what people had in mind. Coming off back-to-back 15 innings, no runs, 11 Ks in his last 2 starts. Been very, very strong, but a rough one for Bradish this time around. I put in some small bids on Bradish. I wasn't super aggressive on Bradish, but I know there's a lot of smart people that really liked Kyle Bradish, Toby. So what are your thoughts on Kyle Bradish off the waiver wire this week?
Yeah, I'm just commiserating Chad Pinder hitting a grand slam. So eight earned runs for Kyle Wright.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that one's gonna hurt right there. I mean, I don't have him in any huge leagues, I don't think, but that's freaking painful. I mean, I do have him in one huge league, but I don't have. He's not like scattered throughout. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I'm scared. Yeah. I mean, Bradish has. There was a little bit of an article about him about how he changed his arm angle or something like that, and his velo was up a little bit, and that had coincided with some success. But even when I look at him, honestly, like I'm not really super, even though over the last 5, I'm not super intrigued at all.
That's kind of my thoughts, though. Like everyone was all like some really smart people were all in, and I was kind of like, what are we seeing here? Didn't we do this with some other Orioles pitchers already this year?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening though here. He's for some reason the velocity is not showing up on the rolling average graph, so I can't see how much better or worse he's. I guess he throws a cutter is his main pitch. Yeah, the velo's up. It says it's a cutter. It says it's a 95 mile per hour cutter, which would be certainly interesting. So up over its last little bit, but still the Z contact's not great. O swing's not great. Swinging strike rate's not great. K rate is not great. Like everything's below average. So yeah, I mean, he got blown up today. This doesn't even count today. So maybe a glimmer of hope there for a little bit, but not anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of. I saw the appeal a bit, but I was kind of also like, is this just a hot run? Did he get some good matchups? The things just, I don't know. I was kind of torn. They placed wasn't it Toronto today they were facing? That seems like a bold one to go take that claim on, because you're talking about you mentioned it in the intro. You're talking about some of the better hitters might have down months to get you. Well, Bubba reminding people how good he is right now, just crushing everything. So it goes both ways, and that's why I was kind of like, as kind of frustrating as the Jays offense has been this year, they're still very potent, and I was not going to get in line with that. That was just my 2 cents on that one.
Yeah.
Jose Suarez. This is a guy I picked up a while ago. I've been rolling this dude for quite some time. He was picked up in 59 leagues, as high as $17, as low as 1. If we want to get real picky here, since the All-Star break, July 26th, Jose Suarez has been pretty good. He's made 7 starts, given up a total of 8 runs in 41 innings, striking out 39, picked up 5 Ws, which is pretty impressive if you really want to start talking about it. Coming off an absolute gem against Detroit, which you'd expect his last time out, but he's basically 5 or more Ks in his last 6 starts, putting in the work, limiting the damage. I love what I'm from Jose Suarez. So this is a big one. I thought people should have been more aggressive on Suarez than some other options this week.
Yeah. I mean, I picked him up like maybe 10 weeks ago or something like that, just for once, but I dropped him. So kudos to you for sticking with him. I mean, like his last 5 games, 38% O swing. That's fantastic. 26.1% K rate. Walk rate is at 5%, which is so big for him because, he's at around 9% for over the last 2 years, 12.5% swinging strike rate. I mean, that's really, really good. Super impressive. Let's see. Let me just see like if he's got like a velocity bump, like maybe a little bit recently, but nothing too crazy. Let's see. It's a changeup. That's his best pitch, right? 23% change. Let's see. Curve. He's trying to see. He stopped throwing his curve. Does he have a slider? Oh, he started throwing a slider a bunch.
That'll
He hadn't
help.
really he hadn't really thrown it a lot heading into this year. So let's see how it plays. Yeah, so he's got the four seam at 10.1% swinging strike, which ain't too shabby. The changeup's at 19.5%, but with a 42.2 O swing. And I think one of the things is his four seam gets a 25.1% O swing, which is below league average, but for a fastball, that's really good. Yeah, his slider's at 29.7, and 13% swinging strike. So it's not great, but his curveball and sinker are such abysmal swinging strike rate, 6.6, 6.3, that any pitch that he can take that kind of like, to replace that is phenomenal. And so now essentially he's going with mostly 3 pitches, and those pitches, the lowest swinging strike rate any of those pitches has is 10.1%. And so
Pretty
that's
solid.
a very different story. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, kudos to people who picked him up a while ago. He definitely looks really good. It looks like he definitely made some key changes, and that'll be intriguing. He's definitely a guy like, I don't know if he's available, probably not in 15 teamers, but looking to next year, he might be a guy who doesn't have a really nice, like maybe full season profile, or has had enough questions in the past around his profile that, that he falls under the radar a little bit, but definitely intriguing.
100% with you on that one, because he had flashes of it late last year too, which kind of, at least in like draft holds and stuff, people kind of paid a little attention late, but in redrafts, no one was super aggressive on, and it's starting to show its face again. So he's kind of doing what Patrick Sandoval did at the end of last year. Now he's doing it this year. Now we'll see if he has a better encore than Patrick Sandoval has had this year. We'll see how that one plays out next draft season. All right, next up, Nick Martinez picked up 52 leagues, as high as $61. He's been the closer for the most part for the Padres. He's picked up 4 saves in his last 5 outings, which has been impressive. In the month of August, 2.12 ERA, 15 Ks and 17 innings pitched. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, but Josh Hader got a save last week." I watched that live. He was so close from getting yanked again. He came in because a lot of lefties are on the mound, and Martinez has been used a lot, so.
Yeah, he looked bad yesterday too.
Take that with a grain of salt is all I'm going to say. Is I still think it's Nick Martinez's job, like at least like 75 to 80% of the time. So I wouldn't be on Nick Martinez, who, if he was available, I was putting bids in for sure, because I still believe it's him, not Josh Hader.
Yeah, so did I. I don't know who it is, honestly. I mean, I'm looking at Martinez. So since he joined the bullpen, I thought he'd really been good during that period of time. And he has been, like, not skills wise, but he's got a 2.12 ERA. He's been up 28 hits, 9 walks. So 37 walks and hits in 34 innings. So really good there. But, 250 BABIP, really low home run per fly ball rate, which could be something that, kind of sticks with him, but only 6.62 Ks per 9, 2.38. I mean, that is all to say, I thought he was the closer. He's looked good from the pitching from the bullpen this year. Whether or not he's still the closer or not, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, they've got some good arms in that bullpen. Luis Garcia is good. I mean, Robert Suarez. I don't know what he's done the last couple of weeks, but when I looked at him a couple of weeks ago, he looked really nasty too. So there are some arms that they can go to there. It'll be interesting to see who gets that next save opportunity when it's a clear save opportunity.
Yeah, it is interesting. There are options. I think it's Nick's job for now, but anything can happen. And plus, they haven't even been that good to begin with, so it's like maybe just tone it down all around and see what takes place in that grand scheme of things. But yeah, we'll see. I think it was a worthwhile bid this week, as long as you weren't going too crazy on the bidding. I tweeted it out Saturday night that it's Nick Gordon week, because it is 7 right-handed pitchers on the docket for the Twins, and even one was Garrett Cole, and I didn't care. Well, that game got rained out on Tuesday, so they'll have a doubleheader, I'm assuming, on Wednesday. So I'll see how that one plays out. But Nick Gordon was added in 51 leagues, as high as $41. If you're in my league, I've already had him for a while because I'm a sucker for Nick Gordon, right or wrong, I don't know. But since August 1st, hitting 295 with 2 homers, 3 stolen bases, 10 doubles. So like the productions were 20 RBIs for Nick Gordon. I'm just going to throw all that out there, striking out less than 20% of the time. We've talked about him before. The dude can hit. It was just playing time. This was the perfect storm this week. So what's your thoughts on Nick Gordon?
Yeah, I think we talked about him last week, but really like a lot. I mean, I think the challenge has been the production. Like he's done really, really well, but he hasn't necessarily produced. But you look at the batting average is really good. He's striking out right around league average. But when you're striking out right around league average, you've got a ground ball rate that's under league average. You make, about league average contact, and then your barrel rate, you have 25 barrels for a 10.7% barrel rate. I mean, that's really good. And the thing about those 25 barrels, he's only got 6 home runs. 6 home runs in 25 barrels. That's got to be one of the lower rates in the league, honestly. And so if you talk about a guy who, we'll see what happens end of the year, again, he's getting playing time. I think he'll be really good. But looking towards next year, as a guy who is kind of putting it together, he bulked up a little bit from last year. I know he had some digestive issues that were challenging him health-wise, but one more year away from that, adding a little muscle, who knows? I mean, we could be looking at a, 15-15 type of guy here with a full run of playing time. If not, potentially a little bit better than that. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I'm liking what we're seeing. I'm hoping eventually, starting next year, he's a regular player, but we'll see. They might keep platooning him, but the talent's there. Talent's definitely there. Wants a higher, not top, but a higher level prospect. So we'll see how that one pans out for sure. Yasmani Grandal back in the news here. Picked up in 48 leagues, as high as $22. He returned from the IL. Got a couple hits, and he's hit safely in 3 or 4 games. He's 0 for 2 tonight. It's just been a bad year. 4 homers on the year, hitting 205. He's got the OBP because that's what he does, but it's just been a horrific season. I dropped him everywhere after the last injury. I didn't even try to pick him up, Toby. I was like, I'm done. If he goes off, he goes off. I can't do it. I'd rather go with Nick Fortes or some other guy. Give me Elias Diaz this week in Coors, something along those lines. I can't do this Yasmani Grandal thing anymore. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I had some lower level bids on him a couple weeks back in 15 teamers. God, what an absolutely bizarre year for him. The home runs have dried up. The walk rate's still there, 12.3%. The strikeout rate is lower than it has been since 2013 for him. He's making a lot of contact. But he's only got the 10 barrels at 4.9%. So you got to think injuries are probably at play. He is 33, almost 34. But I was interested in him just because, even though he hasn't played well, we saw what he did after he came off today, or not today, but 1 year ago, he came off the IL and it was just absolute fire for the rest of the season, league winner. And you're not going to get that at the catching position that often. So it's one of those situations where you just kind of are you want to know something, you just got to throw this year out and hope he can regain some of that glory. And, it hasn't happened yet, but I can see why people would have been in on that for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't blame anybody. I guess I was just a scorn. We talk about, recency bias and all the biases all the time. Because I was all in on Grandal this year. I was in on him last year and it paid off. And I think what kept me in on him so long this year was last year he started out horrible. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't even just that last run you mentioned. It was the whole second half of the season. He started just hitting. He was great. He's one of the best catchers in baseball. And I'm thinking, okay, he had a slow start again this year. He'll figure it out. He's banged up, whatever. He hadn't figured it out yet. Now, like you said, could he? Yes, he's just that talented. That whole White Sox team is frustrating when it comes to fantasy. Just going to throw that out there. There's so much talent on that team that just disappoints time and time again. So I don't know. I agree. I get why people did it. I couldn't stomach it anymore. Unless like you said, you got him for a $1 or $2, sure. But there was zero chance I was spending any high dollars amounts on Yasmani Grandal this week. Trevor Rogers picked up in 46 leagues as high as $80. Now, this one's fun because we know what he can do. It's been a very bad year. Rehab starts were very strong for Trevor Rogers, and his return against the Rays, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, looked very good. Old version of Trevor Rogers getting swings and misses. Looked good. Are you a believer? Are you back in, Toby?
Am I a believer? I mean, it's hard to say, honestly. I can definitely see why people were in on him. I mean, there's reason to believe. I mean, there's so much that's gone wrong this year, right? The 333 BABIP, the 66% strand rate. He's walking a ton of guys, but honestly, like 9.9%, the walk rate isn't all that dramatically different or like the walk skills aren't all that dramatically different. It's just been kind of the ball falling in and the home run rate being much higher. He was at 0.41 last year. So, just a little bit of regression from last year coming into play. Again, he's in a great ballpark. I would be playing him for matchups, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough to say. It's just tough to say, like, after a guy has a season like he's had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just really hard to say.
He's almost like the Yasmani Grandal of starting pitchers.
Yeah.
Everyone was in on him. Everyone was in on him, and it was just so hard to watch. It was just so lost. It was kind of how Blake Snell was a couple years ago. Like, where did this talent go? But at the same time, like Blake Snell, you wouldn't be surprised if he all of a sudden found it again. Like next year, he could be that next year's Robbie Ray. He could go like around pick 180 or 200 and return top 50 value once again or something. Like no one would be surprised by that. So
yeah. And the one thing I'd say is like he's a good example of like this is why it's so hard with younger pitchers,
Oh yeah, I need to see it more than once type thing.
Yeah, I mean, he rolls in there and he's got that 0.41 home runs per 9. And then it's like, oh, well, then the walk rate isn't as scary because of that. But I mean, also the swinging strike rate's so high, like everything's, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just never know what's going to happen. You just never, I know that's not helpful at all, but it's just like, I want to see
it's
like towards the end of the year, did he fade at all like last year? Like, was there anything noticeable in that realm for him? Let me see where he was at, like his last 5. So his Z contact. All right. So like his Z contact was at 85% as a 5-game rolling average ending September 28th. 35.5 O swing. No, the K rate was at 27%. Swinging strike rate was down. I mean, his swinging strike rate was way down from where it had been previously, but his walk rate was down too. So it's not like there was any fading towards the back end there. I mean, it's just one of those things, man. It's brutal and he's your what? Your 6th round pick, 5th round pick. So you're throwing him out there, you're putting him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's either your SP2 or he's your SP1 if you waited on pitching. Like there's just so many scenarios where that stung in a big way. But that happens. We've all done stuff like I've done plenty of that. Don't you worry. But it's one of those that I'll still be intrigued on the bounce back. But you said it's when you're taking early pitching, almost early players, but definitely pitching. Hitters you can kind of play with a little more. But early pitching, I need like a pedigree. Like I need to see some stuff. Like I'm kind of cautious in my picks. That's how I roll. I know Toby similarly is. But like I need to see if I'm going to put that high pick out there. I need to know you've done it a few times. Like this is one of fluke thing, especially with pitchers, like you said, is they roll out there and now other teams have books on these guys. They have a whole offseason to look into this guy. Like now they know what he's got. Now maybe he made changes in the offseason for the good or the bad. We don't know. But it's a different animal than just like this dude came out of the minors with this electric stuff that no one's seen in the bigs, and now you have to try to figure him out. Now they have to a whole book on him, and that changes a lot in the big league level. So now it's time for Trevor Rogers to change back. What happened now?
Imagine being Tyler Rogers, and you pick him up, and you're like, maybe he's the closer now for the Brewers, and then
Taylor Rogers.
Tyler's
on the Giants.
Tyler, there's too many. There's too many Rogers, but.
Yeah.
Then he gives up
Rogers neighborhood.
Then he gives up 4 runs in the bottom of the 10th at Coors to lose the game.
Who hit the walk-off granny?
No, it was a 3-run homer by Randall Grichuk. I was hoping it was going to be like Tolia or
that's what I was hoping.
Bouchard or something like that. But
that would have been great.
Oh wow.
We'll get a couple more in here before we hit up our ads for the week. Bubba Thompson picked up in 43 leagues as high as $31. And like, I get why in some 12s he was on the wire, but I'm just curious to the thought process of why people waited till now. Dude hit 295, 10 stolen bases. Second, this is since he came up August 4th. That's second to only one Jake McCarthy in steals since the All-Star break. 1 homer. So, but we knew you were getting him for average and stolen bases. And he's done that pretty much out the gate. So, and he's been hotter of late. I get it, but this is what you were going for. So yes, pick him up, but I'm kind of curious. Like, you missed out on probably the best run you're going to get with him. Why are you going? Like, I just confused on why now, if not before. That's my answer, my question, I guess.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on Bubba Thompson?
Yeah. Before that, Bubba, you want to know how bad it's gotten for Spencer Torkelson?
They get sent back down. You go over 4 Ks.
The Angels intentionally walked Harold Castro, putting the leading run, the lead runner for the lead, whatever you call that thing, I can't remember, on second base to pitch to Torkelson, and he struck out.
Remember when we saw Torque in the fall league, and he was supposed to be the next best thing?
Oh man,
I think he's still gonna be
really
good.
but
He's still gonna be
but
good. It's been a rough.
Just,
because think about it. He was in the same breath as J-Rod and Witt and all these guys draft season, and they've all done what they've done, obviously. And then you got Torque, who's gone back to the minors. He's come back to the bigs. It's just been a back and forth. Like, what happened is elite, the number 1 overall pick. What happened? That's baseball. They're young. Anything it can change. But it's been tough to watch because the dude is a hitter. Like, he's a very good hitter, but it's been rough.
Yeah,
rough for him.
Totally.
Well,
you nailed it on Bubba Thompson. I mean, check this out. Dude's hitting 295.
Yeah.
He's got a 30% strikeout rate. He's got a 431 BABIP, but hold up, 57% ground ball rate, 16.7% hard hit rate. But check this out. He's got a 431 BABIP with an 18.8% infield fly ball rate, which is just like,
that's atrocious.
Insane. So, like, essentially none of those are hits, right?
Yep.
So you take that like out of the equation for his BABIP, and his BABIP's essentially like, it's got to be like well over 500 for balls that he puts in play. His O swing's bad. His contact's not even that good. Yeah. I mean, you've definitely gotten the best out of him, but he's doing what you got him to do, right?
Exactly.
I mean, he's doing what you got him to do, and so
it's just like I hope my sentiments is the nice way I was trying to say is I hope you're not late to the party, because you got the average, you got the steals. Like, this is one of those. Are you paying for that and you're not going to get it like this? And maybe he still goes off and he gets 10 more steals this month. Anything's possible because they're going to play him. Like, there's no question. But it's just one of those that feels like, ew. Like that kind of stings a little.
Totally. Yeah. And that's why that's totally what I meant when you like killed it on that, is like, this is why, like, it's not like he's earned any of this, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you just hope to catch that lightning in a bottle,
yep.
And that's what you've done if you've had Bubba Thompson, and it's glorious.
It's been great. So we'll see. Hopefully it keeps it going for you, but I'm a little pessimistic on this one. We'll see how it plays out, though. Nick Prado, he was picked up in 42 leagues as high as $52. He's been playing every day with Vinny on the IL, but let me tell you, Vinny P is rehabbing and should be back hopefully this week. Over in games, Prado hitting 286 with 4 home runs, striking out nearly 36% of the time, but he's looked a lot better, a lot more comfortable. Another young player that started out slow, started to get it going. This Royals team is going to be a blast going forward. But my only concern is when Vinny P comes back, Prado wasn't playing every day back then. So how does that play out now? Because Melendez and is going to be in outfield maybe. Salvi catching DH. Maybe they sneak in Vinny P there. They'll make it work, but I'm still curious.
Yeah. I mean, excuse me. He's quintessential, super low batting average, high power guy. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Like, everything about him screams super low batting average. He's got a 32.5% ground ball rate, which again is great for home runs, horrible for BABIP. 53% fly ball rate. Now, it'll be interesting if that line drive rate creeps up a little bit. He's at 36.3% for his K rate. The contact's not good at about 67%, but it's not like, I mean, it's pretty bad, but they also have him projected for about a 32.8% K rate, which I could see him being serviceable, like in that, not necessarily Gallo role, but that like 220 to 230 guy who over 600 plate appearances can definitely hit, 30 home runs. He's got a 14.1% barrel rate, 12 barrels out of 85 batted ball events, so that's legit. So guy with 30 home run power, going to hit anywhere from 180 to 220 probably for his career if he if he keeps up what he's doing right now. But again, like you're just hoping he faces Lucas Giolito like every game. That's what you're hoping for. But
yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I love Prado's overall future. He's got some power, speed, as you mentioned, but I want to see it, like, is he going to revert back to not playing every day? That's my only concern. They shouldn't. They should have him out there all the time. We'll see, but you never know with the Royals, and they have Michael Taylor hitting 4th and 5th right now. So who knows what they're going to do? A couple more here. Spencer Steer got brought up by the Reds to play shortstop because Barrero was not cutting it. Steer picked up in 35 leagues as high as $34. He might be a fun one to add later on. And he's got a couple hits in his early go here, but in the minors, hitting 274 with 23 home runs. A lot of pop, 30 doubles. He's productive, 80 runs scored, 75 RBIs, showing some serious promise throughout the minors for the Reds, getting his chance in Great American Small Park for September. Another middle infield option, kind of like if you couldn't get Gunnar Henderson, maybe you get this guy for $1. Who knows? So what's your thoughts on Spencer Steer, who I think a lot more people might be talking about coming this weekend?
Yeah, he was towards the top of lists and 15 teamers. I think I had him right around JD Davis, but I think he went for a little bit higher. Yeah, I mean, definitely really interesting. I mean, even if you look at his, what he's done so far, he's got a 90% contact rate. I mean, it's like 20, what is he? He's at 12 plate appearances. So just take it with a grain of salt, but 90% contact rate, 100% in zone contact rate, 29.6 O swing. They do have him. I mean, the BatX has him at 21.5% for that K rate, 7.7 for the walk rate. He's got that one barrel, in his 7 batted ball event. So it gives him a outrageously 14.3 barrel percentage. So very small sample, but he's playing in probably the best hitting ballpark in all of baseball, maybe outside of Coors, but there's argument to be made that Great American Small Park is better, from just a pure hitting and power perspective than Coors is definitely from a power perspective. He's got that, they've got a reason to kind of run him out there and see what he can do. They've got a nice little schedule this week. The Reds do. So, playing 3 games against Chicago is never bad. So yeah, I can definitely see it. He was on my list. Intriguing. Try to catch lightning in a bottle. The drill.
Yeah, some other guys like Toglia, you mentioned from Colorado got the call. Corey Dickerson, I was all in on that this week. 7 righties. He's been playing very well of late versus righties. That was like a gimme pick to me, and he's already got 2 or 3 hits on Tuesday night here. Anybody else like Brendan Donovan? Because the Cardinals had a great schedule. Great schedule. Donovan went deep tonight. Anybody else you're really looking to target, or do you want to go on to our pickups of the week?
Yeah, John Schreiber, Red Sox, looks like he's the closer there. He was my second after Herget in places, and yeah, I mean, he got 2 saves in a row to finish off the week.
He was picked up in 29 leagues for size 21, so he'll be available in a lot of leagues next week. So be ready for that one, folks.
Yeah. Lane Thomas has been really crushing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And he had 7 games this week, including 4, to start the week. So that was really nice. So those were kind of some of the other guys that I was after.
All right, let's talk about who you got, though. Give us some of your FAAB results for the week.
All right. Let's see what we got. All right. FAAB results. Oh, Colton Wong's day to day. What the heck?
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, that's what it says. I thought he was just pulled for a lefty. Hopefully it's nothing big. Yeah. So, added Eduardo Escobar, dropped Elahuris Montero with Brent Beatty pretty much out for, I think he's out for the rest of the year, at least the regular season. Escobar seems to be in line for pretty much all those third base starts. They've got the Pirates for 3 this week, and then they've got who do they have? They've got Pirates for 3, then they've got the Marlins for 3, but they're missing Sandy, so they got Cabrera, Lopez, and Luzardo. So still a little tough, but the next week they've got the Cubs and the Pirates, 7 games. So I expect a little bit of a home run tear from Eduardo Escobar. Was actually very, very disappointed he did not hit a home run tonight, but we'll let it slide. Elahuris Montero did hit a home run, so thanks, Elahuris, for never playing and hitting a home run after I drop you everywhere. Jimmy Herget, I added him, dropped Garrett Whitlock. Whitlock's actually been really good, but it doesn't look like he's going to get saves. He's been coming in the 7th and pitching 2 innings. Kind of a bridge to Barnes or Schreiber, so kind of moved on from him there. JD Davis, I added 3 lefties to start the week against the Dodgers. Not the best 3 lefties to go, but he hit a bomb on yesterday, so that was at least nice. Dropped Andrew Benintendi. He's out for the rest of the year, it looks like. I didn't know that when I dropped him, but I think Boone had some season. And when I saw that, I was like, man, even if, and I don't even know what kind of matchups you're going to get. You're not giving me home runs. You're not giving me steals. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Am I gone?
You just came back. Can you start over, please? You went out like
how? Where did I go out? On Escobar or Benny?
At your very first guy. At Escobar.
At Escobar.
I was trying to flag you down the whole time.
Well, I'm looking at my picks. Unfortunately, I'm not looking at the video right now. So Eduardo Escobar, he's got to run at third base. The Mets have a really nice schedule. They play Pittsburgh, I think, 7 times in the next 2 weeks. They also have the Cubs thrown in there as well. So going with him. Brent Beatty's injured. Herget was my top closer ad. Dropped Whitlock. That was a little bit of a tough decision, but he hasn't been getting the closer role. He's been pitching the 7th and 8th. Added JD Davis, 3 lefties to start off the week. I think 5 total this week. Dropped Andrew Benintendi. He was injured. I didn't know if he was going to be out for the year, but I figured, Boone said something about how he might be back this year, and I moved on from him at that point. And then added Elvis Andrews, dropped Tony Kemp, $3, $1 backup. Andrews hit that 2-run bomb, so he's good on my book. Added Dermis Garcia, who's been playing pretty much every day for the A's, has a little bit of pop. Dropped Evan Longoria, who has been playing intermittently and not well. And then my ad of the week, Victor Caratini, added him in a bunch of places. I think 3 of my 4 big leagues because Wilson Contreras is injured. He hit a 3-run bomb. He's got a beautiful schedule. So those are the guys I added there. I lost out on Corbin Carroll 39-39 in this one league, but I'm happy about that because, I missed out on May. I missed out on Corbin, but I'm so glad I have so much money to spend the rest of the way. Honestly, I just feel like I'm in a better place, and I really love the scattershot approach of putting your eggs in a ton of baskets and hoping some of them hit, then really putting them all in one basket, especially for a short amount of time. Picked up Michael Tolia. He's been playing every day, switch hitter in the outfield for the Rockies. Dropped Elihuris Montero, $16, $7 backup. Added Schreiber, dropped Eovaldi, $9 bid, $7 backup. Added Sam Bouchard, dropped Benintendi, $6, no backup. Added Jace Peterson, dropped Aristides Aquino, who gave me that grand slam as a parting gift. Added Victor Caratini, dropped Robbie Grossman. Then we added Jimmy Herget, $14, $4 backup, dropped Luis Garcia, added Michael Tolia, dropped Franchi Cordero, added Sean Bouchard, dropped Elihuris Montero, added John Schreiber, dropped Andrew Benintendi. Next league, added Jimmy Herget, $16, $6 backup, dropped Zach Davies, who's actually been really good this year, but he faces some really tough lineups the next 3 weeks, so I'm not interested in that. Added Michael Tolia, dropped Nathan Eovaldi, 13-5. Added Jace Peterson, dropped Elihuris Montero, 4. A $1 backup. Added JD Davis, dropped Franchi Cordero, 3. No backup. Added Victor Caratini, $1, 0 backup. In my OC, so 12-team league, I really botched it this week, but I added Keston Hiura, dropped Jorge Polanco, added Jimmy Herget, dropped Reed Detmers. In TGFBI, I added Keston Hiura for $22, runner-up of 11, dropped Sir Anthony Dominguez, added John Schreiber, Elias Diaz, dropped Nick Fortes and Luis Garcia. And then finally in BARF, I added Michael Tolia, dropped Elihuris Montero, added Sean Bouchard, dropped Christopher Morel, added Jack Sawinski, dropped Jorge Polanco, added Giovanni Gallegos, dropped Jonathan Hernandez.
Toby churning and burning over there. Love it. Yeah. Love it. In my OC, my first one, added Gunnar Henderson, dropped Brett Beatty. This is why 12 teamers make me laugh. $31 is what I wanted for a runner-up of 6 for Gunnar Henderson. Remember when as high as 800 and something in another league? I got Nick Prado for $4, dropped Derek Hall. That was not even my top option there, but that's what I got. And I added Rafael Montero just for $1 because and now Presley wasn't even back on Tuesday like he's supposed to. We'll see if he's back Wednesday. but as long as Montero's got a chance to close, I'm interested. Dropped the Roldis Chapman. And then I added Ken Waldachuk, dropped Cutter Crawford. Waldachuk was like my fourth option there too, but just kind of putting up $1-2 bids to see how that one plays out for now. I like the strikeout upside from Waldachuk, so I was kind of putting some bids in on that. Tough matchups this week, though, so be ready. He has the Braves tomorrow, so not good. Next OC, grad Corey Dickerson for $3, dropped Brett Beatty, runner-up of $1. Added Jose Suarez. This is one of the leagues I didn't have him forever. Got him for $3, dropped Cutter Crawford. I did add Kyle Bradish here. Did not start him, thank God. $3. Added Nick Prado for $2, dropped Kerry Carpenter, so a lot of small winners on that one. Corbin Carroll went for $601 in that league. Runner-up of $33, if that makes you feel any better. Next OC, here's the one I told you about, Toby. This is just, everybody get your popcorn ready. I got Corbin Carroll for $1. Dropped Derek Hall, no runner-up bid. Got Emmanuel Rivera, dropped Tyler Naquin 1-0. Grabbed Rafael Montero, dropped Joey Gallo 1-0. So that was a fun league. And I got Corbin Carroll for $1 when Gunnar Henderson still went for 114. Bubba Thompson went for 31. Money Margot went for 31. Some of these leagues, Toby. Some of these leagues.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I thought I had no chance. I had like barely any money, so I just put a bunch of $1 bids in there. It's like, keep them honest. Yeah, shocked.
Fascinating.
In my last OC, the one where I had the most money left, got Gunnar Henderson for 37, dropped Jared Walsh, runner up of 6. Added Corbin Carroll, dropped Brett Beatty 37-7. Added Nick Gordon, dropped Kerry Carpenter 12-1. Added Pete Fairbanks, dropped Cutter Crawford 3-0. Added Nick Martinez, dropped Derek Hall 3-2. So I had extra money to spend. I want to make sure I got some of those bats I wanted and paid a little extra for them. One of my OCQs, got Clay Holmes, dropped Aaron Savali 12-2. Added Corey Dickerson, dropped Brandon Belt. Added Emmanuel Rivera, dropped Cutter Crawford. Added Rafael Montero, dropped Nate Eovaldi. Barf, as we're battling near the top every game. A bunch of $1 bids because everyone outbid me. Emmanuel Rivera for $1, Evan Longoria for $1, AJ Puck for $1, Kyle Bradish for $1. So that was my week in a nutshell there because didn't have as much money as everybody else. And TGFBI, Corey Dickerson dropped Brett Beatty 4-0. Nick Prado for $3. Jacob Junis for $1. Dropped Alex Wood. Luis Patino and his 2-step for $1 as well. So a lot of small bids for the week. Nothing super crazy on all of it. As a couple big ones in the leagues I had, but a lot of $1, $2, $3 bids. That's where we're at right now. And so it's not always my top priorities. Like I didn't want Kyle Bradish, but I also understood talent could be there. So he's like my 4th or 5th guy in the queue. That's where the dice landed this week. So that's the breaks this time of the year. All right, we have 2 listener questions for us here. First off, our buddy, Dave Petroziello, he's got one for us. And he says, so I thought I could skimp a bit on pitching in the main after taking Cole and Alcantara. I realize even with those 2, I should have got at least one more starter in the top 100. As such, I'm kind of skimpy now. This week I dumped Savali and Plesac and Pepio, and I got the 3 guys half I wanted in Waldachuk, Assad, and Adrian Martinez. How viable are they? And I know Waldachuk has an unfortunate matchup with the Braves this week, but at least it's in Oakland. So how do you like the outlooks of Waldachuk, Assad, and Adrian Martinez is the question.
Wow. Famous last words are always, I thought I had enough pitching in the main event. Yeah, so Assad has a 1.6 whip, 6 strikeouts in 10 innings, a 0% K- walk. I mean, actually, the Z contact at 76.7 is pretty good. 10.2% swinging strike rate, but his K per 9 and walk per 9 are the same at 5.4. He's got a 94% strand rate. So I imagine like 6 or 7 earned runs in his next start, whenever that is. Although maybe he already pitched. I don't know. I don't think it looks good for Assad. Walderchuk. Is that who it was? Oh, man. Am I back? Am I back? Man, this is brutal. Gone here.
as we try to wrap up another episode. Almost done. Almost done. So close.
All right,
You're back. You're back.
God, this is brutal. I don't know what's going on with the audio. Oh, I don't know where did I cut out? Did I already say how bad Assad was?
No, you were getting there.
Yeah, he's bad. I mean, it's just like, he's got a 1.6 whip. He's got a K percent and walk percent that are equal at 13%. He has a lot of trouble throwing the ball over the plate. The zone percentage is at 34.4, which is incredibly low. His first pitch strike rate is hovering around 50%, and his O swings at 30.3%. The projections don't like him either. 4.7 with a 1.41. It's possible he gets lucky, but I was saying like I would expect like 6 or 7 earned runs in his next start probably. Walderchuk. How do you spell Walderchuk? Bubba, am I out? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you now.
Lovely.
All right, there we go. Now I can hear you. You can hear me?
Beautiful. We're almost done.
We're almost there, guys. Almost there. How do you spell Walderchuk?
K strikeout, KK strikeout.
How is that? Really?
I don't know. It's WALDRICHUCK, I think. Just guessing.
Oh, Walderchuk. Ken Walderchuk. Did he throw today?
No, he throws tomorrow. Cole Irvin threw today.
Walderchuk. Walderchuk has a 1.93 whip, 17.4% walk rate. But I will say the first pitch strike rate is really good. The zone percentage is fine, and the O swing is better than league average. So that's just really bad luck. So I'd much prefer Walderchuk. I'd much prefer Walderchuk based on everything I'm looking at compared to Assad. He actually looks like he could be a decent pitcher here.
That makes me feel better for the moves I made.
Yeah, and then what's the other Walderchuk, and who's the last guy?
Give me a second. I just got rid of it. This is a great show we got going on here.
I know. This is only the highest quality here.
Yep.
On Bubba and the BatFlip. Me going in and out of reception, keeping you on that seat, cliffhangers.
Yeah, it's cliffhangers left and right. Now I can't even freaking. There's Dave. Let me find his answer here for us. So you have Walderchuk, Assad, and Martinez of Oakland. Okay. Adrian Martinez, I believe.
Adrian, yeah.
Yes, Adrian Martinez.
Adrian Martinez. I mean, he's fine. He looks fine. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like a 12.2% K minus walk. He's got an 11.7 swing and strike, which is nice. 33.2 O swing, which is nice. 84.6 Z contact, which is nice. So that's all
nice.
Seems good. Yeah. So I think that's fine. And maybe he's even getting better.
Walderchuk's the guy. That's the guy I'm planting my flag on. Just hopefully the Braves don't beat him up too bad, or if they do, he get him for real cheap next week because I like the strikeout upside from the kid. So that's where I'm going.
I like it.
Joe G, he's got a question for us here. Probably going to drop Brandon Rogers very soon. Only 6 more home games after this week and been very cold. Who to pick up? Luis Garcia of the Nats, Luis Rengifo, Spencer Steer, Ketel Marte. I'm guessing that's who he said. Mixed roto. Home runs and RBIs are needed.
Say them one more time.
Luis Garcia of the Nats, Luis Rengifo, Spencer Steer, Ketel Marte. I'd say Steer or Marte.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure, Ketel Marte, but I'd say Steer Marte as well. I mean, Rengifo's been playing really well, and the power is up, and he hits in the middle of the lineup. So, but I think he's also been injured a little bit. So, it's like I don't think he actually has that much power, but he's on a little bit of a run. Luis Garcia, there's just not a lot there, I don't think, at least at this point. There's some batting average, but not going to be a lot of RBI, probably not many home runs rest of the way. I'd be glad if I got 2.
Yep, I'm with you. I think Steer in Great American Small Park is very enticing, but Ketel's the dude you want. if he's out there in your league, that'd be the option A for sure. All right, Toby, we're going to wrap it up there. Another fun FAAB recap, week 23 in the books, about a month, four periods to go. Thoughts, Toby?
Yeah, apologies for all the technical difficulties. I hope that wasn't too annoying for people, but we're trying our best. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, those of you on the West Coast, stay cool. I mean, it's gnarly out there right now, and best of luck on all your teams.
Yep, should be a fun one. Enjoy it. Hopefully your pitchers don't get shelled or get the bullpen to shell for you as we experience live on air. Hopefully Jake McCarthy breaks the stolen base record for the second half of the season and all kinds of more fun stuff. Corey Dickerson, C. Dick Dong. I want to see that this week. So let's make it happen. Check out Toby on Twitter at BatFlipCrazy. I'm at BD Entrick. We'll be back with you guys next week with another edition of Bubba and the BatFlip. Catch y'all later.